Today's headlines don't point to one single crisis. Instead, they reveal something more subtle and perhaps more important. While institutions are straining, alliances are wobbling, trade tensions are rising again, and extreme weather is testing infrastructure. From the United Nations to Washington, from Brussels to Mexico, today's news shows a world under pressure. In this episode of NovusNarrator, we break down the most trending global developments and explain why they matter beyond the headlines. With no hype nor noise, just clarity. The UN warns, the world order is failing. The most globally shared headline today comes from the United Nations. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres issued a stark warning. The current global security architecture is no longer fit for purpose. He described a world defined by chaos and change, arguing that the international systems designed after World War II are struggling to manage modern threats. This is significant. When the UN chief openly questions the adequacy of the global order, it signals deep concern within diplomatic circles. What's driving that concern? Ongoing war in Ukraine, Middle East instability, increasing geopolitical rivalry, trade fragmentation, climate disruptions. Guterres is essentially saying the framework that once stabilized global politics is cracking. But here's the key question. Is this a warning or an acknowledgement of something already happening? Because today's other trending stories suggest the strain is real. Europe fails to unite on Russia. As the fourth anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine approaches, the European Union failed to approve a new sanctions package against Moscow. Hungary blocked the proposal. The result? Political friction inside the EU at a sensitive moment. Sanctions have been one of Europe's primary tools against Russia. A failure to agree, especially this symbolically close to the anniversary, raises questions about unity. This isn't just procedural politics. It impacts military support for Ukraine, energy policy, European credibility, transatlantic coordination. At the same time, Slovakia reportedly paused emergency electricity exports to Ukraine, adding another layer of complication. The takeaway? Europe is facing internal pressure at the exact moment cohesion matters most. And that links directly back to the UN chief's warning. Trump announces 15% global tariffs. Meanwhile, in Washington, President Donald Trump announced plans to raise tariffs to 15% on global imports following a Supreme Court ruling affecting his earlier trade authority. Trade wars don't start with dramatic declarations. They start with policy shifts. A broad tariff increase would impact consumer prices, manufacturing supply chains, EU-US trade relations, China-US tensions, global market stability. Markets are watching closely. Tariffs function like economic pressure valves, but they can also trigger retaliation. If enacted fully, this policy could reignite global trade tensions at a time when inflation concerns haven't fully disappeared. This matters because trade disputes don't stay confined to spreadsheets. They spill into diplomacy. And today's news suggests diplomacy is already stretched thin. Security flashpoints in the Middle East. Elsewhere, volatility continues in the Middle East. Reports indicate Israeli strikes in Lebanon killed multiple individuals, raising concerns about ceasefire durability and regional spillover. At the same time, US military activity in the Eastern Pacific resulted in a strike against a suspected narcotics vessel. These events may seem disconnected, but they share a theme. The global security environment is highly active. And when multiple flashpoints simmer simultaneously, the risk of escalation rises. This is what modern instability looks like, not one single global war, but layered regional tensions, overlapping rivalries, and constant diplomatic management. Mexico, a cartel leader killed, violence erupts. In Mexico, authorities announced that Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, the powerful leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, was killed in an operation. His death triggered violent backlash in several regions. The killing of a cartel leader may seem like a straightforward security victory, but in organized crime networks, Power vacuums can destabilize territories quickly. What happens next is critical. Will rival factions compete violently? Will federal forces maintain control? Will this shift trafficking routes? This story trends globally because cartels influence, migration flows, drug trade networks, US-Mexico relations, regional stability. Security shocks rarely stay local anymore. They ripple. A bomb cyclone paralyzes the US Northeast. While geopolitics unfolds, nature delivers its own headline. A powerful winter storm, described by meteorologists as a bomb cyclone, has hit parts of the northeastern United States. Blizzard warnings, flight cancellations, power outages, emergency declarations. Extreme weather events are trending more frequently, not because storms are new, but because infrastructure strain and population density amplify their impact. And as climate discussions intensify globally, each severe weather event becomes part of a larger conversation. It's not just about snow. It's about resilience, connecting the dots, a world under strain. Let's step back. Today's trending headlines include a UN warning about failing global structures, European political gridlock, US tariff escalation, Middle East volatility, organized crime backlash in Mexico, severe climate-driven weather. Individually, each is manageable. Collectively, they suggest a pattern. The world isn't collapsing, but it is adjusting. And institutions built for a different era are being tested by modern pressures: economic nationalism, strategic competition, climate intensity, regional conflicts. And the central question becomes, are existing systems strong enough to absorb these shocks? Or are we witnessing the slow redesign of global order? What happens next? Watch these developments. Will the EU reach compromise on sanctions? Will tariff policies trigger retaliation? Will Middle East tensions escalate or stabilize? Will Mexico maintain security control? Will markets react sharply to trade and weather disruptions? None of these stories are finished. They are unfolding in real time. And in a hyper-connected world, shifts happen faster than ever. Outro. Why today matters. Today wasn't defined by one explosive headline. It was defined by signals. Signals that global institutions are under stress. Signals that alliances are being tested. Signals that economics and security are increasingly intertwined. Understanding these shifts isn't about panic. It's about awareness. Because the future rarely announces itself loudly. It reveals itself gradually through days like this. This is NovusNarrator, context beyond the headline, clear context. Calm analysis, no noise. And tomorrow, we watch again.